It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, I'm super excited today because, over the last couple of weeks, I've talked a little bit about that transition from print into alternative services, IT services. You've seen Jay Mallory behind me on my ClearTouch Interactive board. We're going to introduce you to a new player at ImageQuest, and his name is Kenny Gluck, and Kenny Gluck is in the technical side of ImageQuest. But I wanted to bring both Jay and Kenny on today because I want to talk about what they see as the biggest difference, because both of these gentlemen worked for a copier company that sold IT services, and now they work for an IT services company. And I want them to share with you the differences between those two operations, those two business processes. Gentlemen, how are you doing? It's fantastic having you on. And Kenny, welcome to the end of the day with Ray. I know it's your first time.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to invite me to join. Jay has had nothing but amazing things to say.
Well, Jay and Milton, a couple of really good buddies of mine. They're doing some phenomenal things with ImageQuest. I've done some nice interviews around ImageQuest. You guys are the shining star on the hill, if you will. And, I just wanted, Jay, and I know that I've had you on before. We talked a little bit about some of these things, but I want to start with Kenny. So, Kenny, I know you worked for a copier company, an OEM, that was selling IT services. You did that for a few years. I want you to talk a little bit about that. But I want you to define the biggest difference when you left that environment and went into an IT service company that was really 100% IT.
Sure. For me, really the biggest difference is moving from being a copier company that sells IT services. Our real focus was, how many clients can we bring on? What clients can we get? We just need a raw number. Mm-hmm. We just need the most clients possible. Mm-hmm. Whereas the transition here over to ImageQuest, working with Jay and Milton and focusing strictly on IT services, is we've been able to take that freedom of making sure that our clients are the right match for our business model, our support model, and being able to focus on that client support. Instead of focusing on, that monthly revenue first and then support afterwards, we're able to really flip that around and say, hey, is this client going to be the right fit for our support model, for our business? And, we can worry about the financials later as long as the client is the right fit.
Well, when you have the right processes, and I know Milton has the damn right processes down there, you understand your costs going into this, and it is about finding that right customer with the right persona. Jay, isn't it amazing? Because, think back in the copier days, service leaders probably had some of these issues. Sales guys, quit selling this production print shit to these people that don't do enough volume or are, trying to run cardboard through it. Can you sell to the right application to the right customer? Of course, in the printer business, we just said, hell no, we're going to sell whatever we want. We ran out there and sold a bunch of crap, gave a bunch of noise to service. But Jay, that had to be the same thing for you. You come from an environment, go get me the revenue, regardless of what the hell the cost of the revenue is.
Sure.
And I know Milton's disciplined about this. So tell us a little bit about that transition from the sales side.
Well, so Ray, I've been at ImageQuest for 5.5 years, so I've been out of the copier industry for a while. But when I first got to ImageQuest, we were in the copier industry and we were exiting that. Mm-hmm. So I'll never forget, Milton and I talked about, who we going after and what size client and what's that look like. And I remember back in those days, we were like $3,000. Mm-hmm. If we can get someone that's going to spend $3,000 a month, that's what we want. And, as we continue to evolve and bring on larger and larger customers, we came to the realization that, larger clients are a better fit for ImageQuest. And let's face it, they take not much longer to onboard and do all the work up front as it does for a smaller account. So, why wouldn't you spend your time and energy working on accounts that are going to spend a minimum of $10,000 a month versus $3,000 a month? Now, you have to be disciplined and you have to be focused, and you have a finite number of accounts that you're calling on, but you need fewer and fewer wins by taking that strategy.
Can you imagine, Kenny, think about this. You come back to the office and you're in the copier business and you're all excited. You got a customer for $3,000 a month and And the leadership's like, no, we're not taking that one. No, let someone else do that. Let the other copier company do that, because we know if we do that, it's going to affect our service to the ones that are paying us 10. And so, Kenny, I want to talk about that a little bit. A lot of times people, they chase the revenue. And so you have a customer that's paying $3,000 a month for services. And I know you probably have some legacy people that you're probably trying to offload to somebody else at this point. But, you have, as you grow in maturity, how can you give a customer that's paying you $10 or $20 or $30,000 a month in services, really good services, if you got a bunch of noise from those $3,000 customers? How do you deal with that at ImageQuest, and what's the benefit of really moving into that higher end customer?
Sure. I think that really the key is with the engineering team, and being in service leadership, being very selective with the clients that we do bring on board to ImageQuest. We've been able to be selective about the engineers that we bring on board as well. We've just recently added 4 more team members to our engineering team since I've been on board over the last about 5 to 6 months, and it's been absolutely amazing to be able to add that head count. But it's about really those habits, those engineering habits of making sure that your schedules are always updated, that we're following up with tickets, because a lot of times you do get those noisy clients that have a whole lot of needs, and they might be lower on the MRR, right? In that, let's say that $3,000 mark, and we have a client that's $20,000 that sure, they might need support and they're going to want support right away. But if you have your engineering team that's properly prioritizing everything based on how critical is this need, can this wait, an extra hour or two while we deal with this big explosion of fires that came up, and really having that trust and that tiered out leadership where, we're fully confident in our staffing levels that, a whole bunch of stuff could break tomorrow. Hopefully now that I've said it, it doesn't happen. But a whole bunch of stuff could break tomorrow. And I'm confident in our staffing levels that we would be able to absolutely handle that. It would probably be a little chaotic, but our clients wouldn't notice the difference.
That's fantastic. And Jay, obviously this is a big discipline shift, even though you spent 5 years growing into that discipline shift, but does it still hurt you to say no to the customer? Like, we don't want your business, in other words. I just prospected.
And it's funny, Milton and I've had this conversation. It is hard to say no, but it's in the best interest of ImageQuest and my team and our team and the client. Let's face it. But what hurts, worse is when you don't have anyone to send them to. They're so small. They've got 3 people, they have IT needs. And, a lot of the folks that I deal with that I send referrals to, they won't take them on. So there's a lot of that low-lying, low-hanging fruit out there that, maybe back in the day, ImageQuest would have taken on, but it's sure, nothing's easy, right? But it's being disciplined and having the buy-in of our entire team when we bring on a client and making sure they're excited about it and making sure that they believe it's a fit is a win all around for all of us.
No, that's fantastic. And, at the end of the day, there'll be some copier companies out there that you could give some of these leads to, but, just joking around there a little bit. But Jay, here's the reality, and maybe you guys could verify this for me, but I kept saying, I think it was Robin Robbins one time I heard her say that in the future, these $2,500 a month or $3,000 a month service contracts won't be a viable business for MSPs because they'll have alternative resources to get them. Amazon, Google, Salesforce. You got AT&T buying RMM companies and help desk companies. So, I think you're spot on in moving upscale, obviously. And it's fantastic to see the discipline. Kenny's been there a few months, so obviously you could say he's a new guy and he's excited about what he's doing. But, it doesn't matter who you talk to at ImageQuest. They know the mission. They know the purpose. They understand their cost. Milton shares his numbers, faithfully with everybody. We're all on the same page trying to make money. So, Jay, is there anything you want to add before we end this?
No, I think you covered it. I mean, you brought up Robin Robbins, and Robin's, she's one of the smartest people out there in this industry. So if that's her message, folks better pay attention.
Yeah. Well, even I noticed Kenny over there mentioned service leadership, Paul Dipple. I'm a big Paul Dipple fan. No, Paul Dipple's not supporting this End of the Day with Ray episode. I just like Paul Dipple. But, he brings great disciplines to the table. I know Milton's, we call him a Dipple disciple. So obviously what he's saying works. I'm glad you're participating in that service leadership. Kenny, is there anything you want to add before we end?
No, it's the focus is always on that client experience, and just like Jay doesn't like to say, it still hurts him a little bit to say no to a client. It hurts the engineering team every time we have to say no.
Mm-hmm.
So we try not to say no. We always say, we'll get you an answer.
Sure. Well, once they're a customer, you guys are the Ritz-Carlton, I'm sure. But let's not bring people on that you got to do that with that don't really fit the mold. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an important message. Moving from copier business to IT business is all about discipline. These two guys are doing it and doing it well at ImageQuest LLC in Nashville. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this. Status quo is the killer of all that will be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.